Thank you, Council President, and thank you to all my colleagues. This is an exciting milestone for me, and I will echo Councilmember Alvarez's point about just it's been great to work with all of you, each of you. I don't know if I'll mention everybody, but I will now. Councilmember Alvarez, Councilmember Rice, in abstention, Councilmember Friedson, Katz, Council President, Councilmember Reamer. I got you. Councilmember Hucker and Councilmember Glass. Some of you get another highlight in the speech here, but I wanted to just really say it's been a pleasure working with each of you these last 4 months. It's 5 months. It seemed like a lot longer, but I'm looking forward to continuing that. Council President Navarro, thank you for your leadership and your hard work throughout what I know and have come to find out firsthand is one of the busiest and most difficult times to be Council President. So it's been a pleasure to work with you, to learn from you, to sometimes get correction from you, and so I congratulate you on your job well done. Yo, it's always in love. Yeah, so it's great. I also want to thank all the council staff, and I know most of you are down here. Many of you are down here. Each of our offices have hard-working staff that we rely on as we sort through an enormous budget, as was mentioned, $5.8 billion. I want to thank all the analysts in the central staff who have taken the time to walk us through and explain and re-explain and argue and debate and all the many things that we do with you. Thank you for answering our questions. I want to thank my staff, Cecily Thorne, Walton Harris, Pamela Luckett, Fatmata Berry, Christopher Mabry, and James Prevette. Thank you for always striving to meet what I know can be extremely high expectations. So thank you very much. I want to touch on a number of my budget priorities that I'm pleased receive funding in this spending plan, because as has been said, a budget is nothing if not a moral document. When we decide our spending priorities, we demonstrate what we value. And to be clear, this was not as smooth a process as the final product seems. We were not able to fund everything that we would want to, or everything that we need, frankly, for the residents of Montgomery County. The widening of the wealth gap, our changing demographics, and current federal policies will continue to make our future budget decisions difficult. But this is a good budget that balances the needs of our community with fiscal prudence. I'm grateful to my colleagues for the alignment we have maintained on many Montgomery County issues that I hold as top priorities. First, I'm excited that we've added funding to help the many at-risk youth through a number of programs related to our libraries, our recreation centers, and our schools. We've added Friday and Saturday hours in programming at recreation centers in high-needs areas of the county. This will provide our youth a place to be safe and have fun during those critical hours on Friday and Saturday nights. As the council lead on libraries, I am extremely grateful to my colleagues for hearing my many impassioned pleas to restore hours to cuts during the Great Recession to Damascus and Long Branch libraries in some of our most impacted communities. Our libraries are not just a place to check out books. They are job centers, they're media hubs, and community gathering spaces. I know for me as a child growing up in the Long Branch community, my public library helped me on the road to learning that allowed me to grow as a student and as an adult. Every child and person who walks into our libraries has an opportunity to learn and grow. So I thank my colleagues for that support. Montgomery County has invested wisely in refreshing our rec centers and our libraries, and I'm excited that we can maximize these investments while we support our communities. It deserves notice here also that the efforts of President Navarro, County Executive Elrich, the School Board President Shebra Evans, and MCPS Superintendent Dr. Jack Smith were able to close a significant funding gap in our schools. In addition, we took action as what I call the best committee, but I like the Fed committee as well, the Education and Culture Committee, with my colleagues, and that's Councilmember Navarro and Rice, to restore and fully fund Montgomery College's budget request, a crucial stepping stone for many of our residents looking to enrich their lives and prepare for better paying careers through education and career certification. Thank you all for your work. Another major priority in this budget, and one that I push for, is funding for additional wraparound services in Montgomery County Public Schools. I'm thrilled to see funding added to expand Excel Beyond the Bell to 4 new elementary schools, in addition to the Rec Extra programs that Councilmember Reamer in our middle schools. I think that's a big deal. We need to do more, but it's a big deal and it's a big step forward. This after-school program, Excel Beyond the Bell, has demonstrated success to help close the achievement and opportunity gaps for many of our at-risk students. Through enrichment, work, exposure to the arts, STEM projects, sports, and other activities, they are better positioned for success in classroom and in life. I want to thank also my Fed colleagues, Councilmembers Reamer and Friedson, for all of our work to expand dollars in the HIF on the CIP side so that we can have more affordable housing. We also commit to supporting our young people by funding mental health initiatives, something many of us are very passionate about, including myself. We were able to increase hours for our county-wide mental health texting hotline to run until midnight. I raise this because it's an essential tool to help our young people through very difficult times. The hours we have added between 9 and midnight are often a time when our youth are alone and vulnerable. And this initiative will also make sure that they have access to talk to someone in those times. I also introduced an initiative that I'm proud that was funded to add mental health therapists that will serve in our middle schools. This will literally be a lifeline for our students. 1 in 5 of our students face a significant mental health issue, and suicide is the 3rd highest cause of death for people between the ages of 10 and 14 years old, and 2nd for kids between 15 and 19. Our mental health crisis needs to be addressed, and I know this won't solve it all, but I think it will help, and I look forward to working with my colleagues to continuing to expand the continuums of services for our young people. I'm also pleased to see investments to address our environment. From restored bus routes to funds to prioritize climate change, we are making a statement to address our climate emergency. While these items are good, we need to do more, and I encourage our county executive to add more funds through supplemental amendment during the year to continue our work when needed. I congratulate my good friend and seat buddy, Councilmember Glass, for making Kids Ride Free a reality. This is both an equity item and an environmental initiative that will help those at-risk students that I talked about earlier get to our recreation centers for evening programming and get to our libraries. But it also creates more transit riders in the future, a durable transit-oriented generation, which is what we need if we are going to reduce the number of cars on the road and the carbon in our air. A small but impactful item I urge my colleagues to include on our reconciliation list is restoration for the Montgomery County Agricultural Education Fund. Our agricultural reserve is one of the crown jewels of Montgomery County, and educating our MCPS students so they understand the importance of open space, of agriculture, and where their food comes from is critical to keeping our kids healthy and protecting the ag reserve for future generations. So I thank my colleagues for that support. I think, again, this is a good budget that does a lot with limited resources during a difficult time. I look forward to working with all of my colleagues and the community going forward to do even better next year and the years to come. Thank you very much.